I've never drank, smoked, or done any drugs my entire life. Not even a sip of alcohol. And when people find out that I never drank before, I always get this weird mixed reaction. I guess it is uncommon since I myself don't actually know a single person that hasn't drank, smoked, or done any drugs before. And a lot of people think that it's a religious thing, but it actually has nothing to do with my religious beliefs at all. Even Jesus drank wine. And before I start, let me say this. I do not think that I am better than anybody because I've stayed sober my entire life, okay? Like, we're all equal under God. I gotta preface that because I know how defensive people get over alcohol, drugs, especially weed. Like, people that love to smoke weed get real defensive over it. This is why I've never drank, smoked, or done any drugs. The things I've learned and my perspective from staying sober my entire life. So just setting that straight, I'm not trying to argue with no alcohol or drug or weed defenders in the comments. But for as long as I can remember, I've always prided myself on being real and being genuine and staying true to myself. That's how I end every single one of my videos. I personally have never found a reason to drink, smoke, or do any drugs that didn't involve other people or the perception of drinking, smoking, and doing drugs. It doesn't smell good, no one ever tells me that it tastes good. I'm gonna assume that it tastes bad simply because it doesn't smell good. And every time I've seen someone take a shot, they're always making that face. The side effects are all negative. People complain about how they feel afterwards all the time. And listen, I know the point of drinking or smoking is to get high or to get drunk so that you can have fun, but that just never appealed to me. And trust me, it hasn't been easy to stand on this side. It's one less way, a major way actually, for me to bond with people and stay in touch. Because I don't go to parties, drinking is how most young adults socialize. Like, I've been in plenty of situations where I had to be the party pooper. I've had girls call me boring and lame in college. Like, trust me, I've been pressured on this side many times. It's not just something I've easily avoided because it was never offered to me or I wasn't in a situation like that. Like, I've had my back against the wall many times throughout life. I actually lived in a trap house with dudes from like the inner city of Chicago in college every day, and they'd bring the entire football team over. They'd get stoned and do all kind of drugs, and I'd have to act like I'm studying for a midterm every time it was offered. I remember I'd be like, sorry guys, I gotta study for this midterm. I ain't gotta study for no midterm. And every single week, the people in the apartment would complain all the time. I've been to kickbacks, birthday parties where I'm the guy chilling on the couch, trying to act normal while everyone else is going crazy with a red cup in their hand. I'd be in Italy with friends in a pasta making class, and they're serving wine to everyone, and everyone's drinking and having a good time, and I'm like trying to swap glasses with my homie. And I remember I had 2 girls from high school visit me in college. Or 2 girls that I've known since high school visit me. That sounded weird. FBI, open up. I'm keeping that one in the cut, I don't care. And we ended up just parking in a parking lot, and they were smoking in the car, and they came to visit me, so I was feeling pressured to just take a hit. But I was just like, nah, I'm good. I was trying not to kill the vibe, and it's funny too because they were just hotboxing the car, and I was just sitting there while the whole car was getting smoked out. I was like, hey guys, trying to crack a window? And it was awkward, and taking a hit would have been so much easier in those moments to just give in. Like, trust me, I had to go out of my way to stay true to myself. Like, even me making this video, I'm sure there's gonna be someone out there that's gonna get defensive over their precious alcohol and weed and think that I'm the type of guy that probably needs a hit the most. But I made a promise to myself a long time ago that I was never gonna drink, smoke, or do drugs because of someone else, or to be perceived a certain way, or to embrace the perception of doing those things because of the way it's portrayed in culture. Like, I'm not closed-minded to it, I just genuinely never found a desire or reason for myself to do any of that. Like, I will die staying true to myself. And like, let's be honest here, there is an underlying perception or glorification of drinking and smoking, or even worse, doing drugs, which is the main contributor to underage drinking and smoking. It's glorified and it's seen as cool, which is why most high schoolers get into it. And right now, that's what I really want to focus on, the perception of drinking, smoking, and doing drugs.
She a porn star girl. From the valley.
Because 9 out of 10 times when someone gets into any of the 3 things, it's because of other people or to be perceived by others a certain way. Literally, almost every other girl that I've known loves complaining about how they feel after they drink. Although I will say it's hilarious when they pretend to be more drunk than they actually are. Like, I don't know if you guys have had these moments or experienced any of these moments, but when a girl pretends to be more wasted or drunk than she actually is, I swear that is the funniest shit I've ever seen. I remember I went karaokeing. Is that even a word? Karaokeing? Whatever. But yeah, I went to go karaoke, and I think it was like a friend's birthday or something. And I remember afterwards we were standing outside the club, and there was this one girl that was acting way more drunk than she obviously was, and she was kind of causing a whole scene or whatnot. And my friend was like trying to get her to drink some water, and she was like, I don't need no water. And I remember I was watching the whole interaction unfold, and I was like, what are we doing here? Like, it was pretty obvious that she was just playing into it, and we were all just like going along with the bullshit. And that's when it dawned on me. They were more concerned with the perception that they're having fun by being drunk. Keyword perception. And I know this because when the iPhones came out for the IG stories, all of a sudden her level of inebriation or intoxication would multiply by 10 and she would yell a lot louder and whatnot. And I always saw straight through this kind of thing because one thing about me, I'm not smart, I'm not that talented, I'm not talented at all actually, but I observe everything. And she was like, oh, look how drunk I am, look how wasted we are, we're having so much fun. Like, you gotta pull out the phone for an Instagram story or a Snapchat to put on that act, to act like you're having more fun than you actually are. And that's what it is. A majority of people drink and do drugs for the perception that they're having fun. And as soon as the IG story was done, as soon as the phones were put back down, they just went back to being chilled out. Now, are there people that genuinely enjoy the taste of alcohol and drinking? Sure, I'm sure people do. I'm sure some people just genuinely enjoy drinking and the taste of alcohol. But most people, if we're being honest, you start drinking and smoking because you wanted to embrace the underlying perception. Because apparently a lot of people believe that drinking and smoking and doing drugs is the answer to something in their life. I knew girls, and this is not a slight on them, but they literally talked about blacking out at concerts and not remembering anything. How she did acid and Xanax and drank some Henny and some Fireball. And I'm just like, why are you talking about this like it's something you're proud of? Like you didn't accomplish anything. Doing drugs, getting drunk and blacking out, like you didn't do anything worth celebrating. Like it doesn't take anything to do that other than a certain level of stupidity. And it might sound harsh right now, but I'm attacking the perception and glorification of it. Because the reason why she was proud of sharing the fact that she blacked out, and why people like listing all the drugs that they've done like they're badges of honor, or why people like acting more drunk when the IG stories come out, is because the perception of drinking and smoking and doing drugs is something they feel is cool or an accomplishment, or it's something to be proud of, which it isn't. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say no, don't do it, but it's not anything to be proud of. And that's what I'm really going at here, is the perception that's been manufactured by design. Manufactured by who? That's a conversation for another day. But literally, every other song that isn't about love or sex is about partying, drugs, smoking, and alcoholism. These things are embedded and promoted in culture. Everyone that drank before the age of 21, I'd stake probably over 90% did it because of the perception of drinking, smoking, and doing drugs that they've seen in media. Like, I'm talking about the songs you listen to that make you want to smoke over a nice view. And then you got rappers talking about Percocet, Molly Percocet, rapping about Xanax and lean. This stuff can literally kill people. To say that the music industry has an effect on the perception of drinking and doing drugs is an understatement. Like, literally, just go to any music festival and just observe the people there. They're all drunk or high or wasted on some type of drug, Molly, Xanax, whatever. And it's a rhetorical question, but I know why they promote these things just as deep down you know why they promote these things. And it's not just rap or hip hop or the music industry, it's the culture in general. And I understand that it's been this way for a while now. They've always attributed doing drugs and drinking alcohol and smoking to being euphoric and pleasurable. And this is more so a reflection of society in general. There's always been a demand for drugs, but even more so now because mental health, depression, but this becomes a problem when it's promoted and glorified to the youth. And I've seen it throughout high school and college specifically, just as you probably have. And again, I know I got an outsider perspective, and that's what I'm giving you. Again, I've never done drugs, I've never smoked, never drank, not a sip of alcohol. I've known people personally that do drugs, alcohol, or weed that again get real defensive over it. Or like Joe Rogan fanboys. I mean, I listen to Rogan, I like Rogan, but his fascination when he talks about elks and apes and weed and muscular dudes, it gets kind of weird sometimes. It's like he gets aroused when he talks about these things. And I've come to realize that the more defensive people are over it, is because they're most likely coping or using it as an escape. Like, think about this, and this is how I saw it. If you're getting these euphoric feelings from drugs and alcohol, I can't see how you don't become reliant or even addicted to these things. You're going to do drugs, get high, and get drunk instead of actually changing your life. I mean, am I wrong? If this applies to you, tell me. For me, this was my thought process. If I smoke, if I drink, if I do drugs, right? Two things happen. Either I like it or I dislike it. And in both scenarios, I'm going to regret it. And let me explain what I mean. If I get that euphoric feeling and I like it, which there's a good chance since weed makes you relaxed and faded from what people tell me, what is then to stop me from doing these things every time I feel a negative feeling? Anytime I'm lazy, tired, feeling depressed, feeling sad, instead of confronting my problems? Just go smoke a joint, get high, get drunk, pop some pills. Why actually go do things that actually improve my life to get that feeling? Because that's all most people are doing, is chasing a feeling. Money, materialism, sex, validation, lifestyle, you're chasing a feeling. You want money so you can buy nice things. Why? For validation, lifestyle, success, attention, acceptance, love, we're all chasing a feeling. If I can obtain that feeling by ordering a pizza, getting high, hitting up some girl on a dating app, pop some pills, get drunk, and have sex, then what a Saturday night, right? How does that not get addicting? And that's a major reason why I never got into drinking, smoking, or doing drugs. I don't want any of these coping mechanisms that don't actually benefit my life in any way, and also has a lot of negative repercussions, and almost impossible to completely come back from. For me, my high is going for a run during sunset with my headphones on, just blasting music. I get that feeling from boxing, sparring, making a video, and pressing publish when I'm done, having that creative outlet. Those are euphoric feelings for me. Like, I genuinely get a high from these things. Like, I could feel the serotonin rushing through me. And I could see the danger if I got that same feeling from smoking a joint, getting drunk, or doing drugs. And then you become more prone to becoming reliant and addicted to these things because it's so easy. Just popping a pill, just drinking and smoking. And if you get high every day, which I know people that do, like people that smoke before they go to work, I know people that smoke every night before going to sleep. If you're getting high all the time, then it's like, are you even really getting high anymore? Like, doesn't that just become your normal state? Again, I don't smoke weed, so maybe you can tell me. I don't know, I mean, if you can smoke and drink and operate just as effectively, and it doesn't affect your life in a negative way, then I don't know, more power to you. It's just not for me, and I don't plan on doing that myself. I actually spent the last 2 days reading articles and Reddit pages for even personal anecdotes, and one thing that stuck out to me is there's always an underlying tone of intoxicants helping people cope with reality. Listen, I can see how smoking a joint can help people relieve stress or anxiety that can be helpful for some people. I know not everybody has the power through it mentality, but all I know is people that have drank and smoked or done drugs and have decided to become sober always came out better. That's the only observation I'm gonna make. Like, take it for what you will. And again, me personally, I just don't want that kind of crutch because it can turn into addiction real fast. You can say moderation and control, like, oh, it's fine, just do it in moderation. But it's like when you first discover jacking off, right? There's no moderation, it's open season and you're doing it all the time. It's like you've discovered fire. Like, I don't know, maybe some people always had it under control, but for me personally, I think I'm good. And also, I never sold out, I never folded, and I'm proud of that. When I say I pride myself on being real, I say that because it's the way I've lived my entire life, and I have the right to say that. I'm real, and you gotta earn that. When it would have been so easy to fold and just take a sip due to the pressure of the situation or hit that joint. And the reason I'm saying this is because if it's the message that I'm pushing, then I gotta stand for that myself. Like, I can't tell you guys to stay true to yourselves at the end of every single video if I don't even do that myself. And right now I want to speak to the person out there that feels like they want to embrace the perception or is thinking about drinking or smoking or doing drugs. If you're going to do something, make the decision for yourself, not because of other people. Understand the effects of the different kinds of drugs and make sure you got the right people around you. And if it's not having a positive impact on your life and becomes a coping mechanism, get out as soon as possible. Something like weed itself can be harmless, but it can definitely become a gateway drug. Do not chase feelings through drugs and alcohol. It's always better to chase them through actual goals and accomplishments and fulfillments in life. Like, yes, life is hard, we all got our issues, but don't let the devil win. He's always tempting you in every single way possible. And you don't ever want to blink one day and realize you wasted 5 to 10 years smoking and doing drugs and drinking your life away, and then have to spend the next 5 to 10 years reversing the effects of those drugs in whatever way it's affected your life. And again, I'm not telling anybody don't do it, but it wouldn't hurt to just give it a little bit of thought or reflection. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, I think I'll leave this one at that. Hope my sober opinion means something. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Anyways, make sure you guys stay true. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Peace.